Welcoming you live to the Pro Throw practice fields following Oregon State's first day of fall camp. Publisher Brenden Slaughter, BeaversEdge.com, joined by BeaversEdge writers Ryan Harlan and TJ Mathewson. What up, guys? It's good to see you guys again. Good to be back talking with you all as we start another football season. We obviously wrapped up day one today. A pretty light day for the Beavers as they're kind of just getting the pads going and all that stuff and be acclimating over the days to come. But again, day one, the Trent Bray era officially into the season rather than just in spring. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts were, and we'll obviously dive into it. But Ryan, let's go ahead and start with you. What stood out to you today, and just what was the vibe like from the practice today?
Well, first off, favorite time of the year.
It is.
I love fall camp. It's it's great to be back here on the practice field. But first day, energy's high. Guys ready to compete right out of the gate. Quarterback's biggest thing that kind of stood out to me. Ben looked the best out of everybody today. That's not to say Giovanni and Jabari won't improve over the course of practice. It's only one day. We only got more time for them to improve and develop. But Ben had a nice couple of throws today. One diving over the shoulder catch from Trent Walker. He caught that ball there. It was a nice pass thrown by Ben. So really kind of stood out. It's only one day. Can't really say too much else about the offense. I mean, it's just first day. We don't know until we get to live scrimmage and pads come on.
Totally, and to Ryan's point, that was one of the better passes that I've ever seen Ben throw, so that's definitely a good sign. And early on, I think that's something that we kind of expected coming into it, was that Ben Gulbranson was going to have the lead up, considering he's the experienced option. Obviously Giovanni McCoy comes with experience, but at the FCS level, and then Jabari Johnson, who we all feel is one of the better quarterbacks skill-wise, as we wait for the passing by train horn here. But nevertheless, just a day back in Corvallis. Ben does have a leg up with the experience. And, I'm curious, follow-up for both you guys, really. It really seems like in spring we saw a little bit of it. He got hurt at the end of spring, didn't get to see him completed. But he really seems like his skill set as a quarterback fits better in this offense than the previous offense under Brian Lindgren.
Yeah, and the way that Gunderson's kind of constructed this offense is very quarterback friendly, very quarterback conducive, where you're getting the ball out as quickly as possible, the receivers and backs in space, making them make plays for you, not holding onto the ball for too long, which is something I thought Ben, at least the past couple of years, running that pro-style offense, had done a little too much at times, and I think it's more friendly for him, and I think he's the best out of everybody, picking up that offense a lot quicker than Giovanni and Jabari. But Jabari is only practiced a week at the end of spring, and so we're going to obviously, of course, need to see more of him as the competition goes on throughout camp.
Totally, and for more breakdown on the offensive side, obviously head on over to BeaversEdge.com, and on the damn board we're going to have our complete breakdown and a little bit more on how each guy looked, and just to let you answer that question as well, TJ. I mean, obviously you've seen Ben Gulbranson. It really does seem like he's more comfortable in this offense. Are you kind of seeing the same thing out there?
Yeah, a little bit. It helps that we're early on in practice, and he can't get touched there in the pocket. We don't really get to see the defensive line really heated up on him. They're moving all three quarterbacks really off their spot today, and it was mixed results in one day. I think a one big takeaway listening to Trent Bray after is these guys spent a lot of time during the summer here working out and gaining chemistry, and there's a little bit of that on display today. But in the few throws Ben had, he made some solid ones today. But it's still very early. I will say, now here technically in fall camp, physically he's the biggest guy. He is the biggest guy, and I'm going to be honest, it's not saying much because we're standing here watching all of these quarterbacks in the pocket. Can't see them.
Right. I mean,
can't see these guys in the pocket, and I think often today, I'd say the impression I got is all three guys had to bail out of the pocket to see downfield.
Yeah, and I think great points, and I think a part of that also too is the rotations they've got going on the offensive line now. And a note there, one of the things that stood out to me today was, Gerard Christian Lichtenhand, the Colorado transfer, wasn't here for spring, but here for fall camp. He slotted in at left tackle today. He's huge and was just, to TJ's point about not being able to necessarily see the 6'1" quarterbacks when you got a 6'7" left tackle. That's a part of it. So I think, that's another guy that we've asked Trent Bray about. Seemed to be really happy with him. And then the running backs caught my note. You guys mentioned Darius Clemens, but moving over to the backfield, a couple guys, the two freshmen both had noticeable moments today. Cornell Hatcher, Saladin Hala. So that's something to look forward to. Hankerson still looks good. So I think Oregon State's skill position talent is really solid. It just kind of depends on how it's going to shift in and finish up at quarterback. That will obviously grow. Let's move over to the defensive side with you, TJ. Obviously the strength of this defense is going to be in the back end. There's a lot of depth, a lot of experience there. Jaden Robinson, Kobe Singleton on the edges, but an entirely new front seven as far as true full-time starters. What are your thoughts today?
Yeah, it's going to be a little weird. I thought today was a good first impression, even without pads, not even really being able to hit again. As I mentioned in the quarterback bit, they did a decent job moving the quarterbacks off their spot. I don't know physically how they're going to match up to last year's group, because last year that was a very good pass rush group. They had a lot of options both on the exterior and the interior to rush the passer. This is going to be more of a to be determined on that front. They're going to have a lot of snaps to replace up along that front to see if they actually can pressure the quarterback. And it helps, again, they have so much experience behind them, but like with most teams, that's going to be a big question that needs to be answered, and could be the difference between Trent Bray having a okay defense and a really good defense this season. So right. They got some snaps to replace there up front, but first impressions without pads, decent.
Right, yeah, and obviously we're going to know more as practice goes. Beavers Edge is going to be at every practice, and make sure to stay locked into BeaversEdge.com for the complete report today. We got some awesome stuff going on there at the website. If you're new, we got a 30-day free trial going as well, so check that out. And again, big thanks to TJ Mathewson and Ryan Harlan for joining me here breaking down day one. Stay tuned to BeaversEdge.com. We'll be back for day two tomorrow.